Hi, my name is Josh Lockheed, Training Evangelist here at QuoteWerks. In this video, we will be going over the differences between section headers, heading lines, and summary lines and how they work together. Let's start off by going over the differences between the three of them and how they display to the customer in QuoteValet. A section header is used to display the heading of a section and will display the subtotal for items under the heading as well. A heading line is essentially a section header without a subtotal and displays a little bit differently on the quote. Lastly, a summary line is used to total up multiple matching line items in a document. Now I will go over how to add these lines and headers to your quote. On the Document Items tab, right-click anywhere on the Quote Workbook. From here you can insert a section header, insert a heading, add a heading line, or a summary line. You can also go to Edit and check which one you'd like as well. I'll insert a section header first. QuoteWerks will ask you to name the section header, and I am able to simply type the name of the section header. Just a reminder, this name is defaulted to be customer-facing, so you want to make sure it's a good description of what products and services are under that section. For my example, I'm going to put hardware and click OK to save. I'll go ahead and add some Cisco switches to my quote for my customer to choose from. Now I want to add some accessories for the switches, but I forgot to add a section header for my accessories. Instead of going back into the Quote Workbook, I can create a new section header under the Add Item Assistant window. I can click this drop down here, and then add this item to my existing header, or create a new section header. I'll type accessories, then click OK, then Add. Now my item and section header have been added to my document. If I move items into a different section header or remove any of the section headers, it will then automatically update the subtotal of that section header. Now let's add a heading line by right-clicking on the Document Items tab. I have two options for heading lines. Inserting a heading line will insert the heading at the top of the current selected item on the quote, while adding a heading line will add it to the bottom of your quote. I'll click Add Heading, then type the name of my heading. For my example, I'll put Good, Better, and Best. I'm then able to drag and drop my heading lines to place them where I want them on my document. Just as my section headers, I'm able to create a heading line or add an item directly into a heading when I'm using the Add Item Assistant window. Lastly, I'll add a summary line to the document. Right-click, Add Summary Line. This summary line has a lot of settings. The first thing I'm able to do on the Add New Summary Line window is change the description. You're able to manually adjust the description on the drop-down list if you start typing, or directly on the Quote Workbook once it has been added to the quote. Next, you can either make a summary line from your line items in your document, or from the section headers in your document. For my first example, I'm going to make a summary line with line items. I have a few different options for what I can total up. If you don't see the options that work for your company, you're able to use the custom line items as well. For my example, I want to add up the extended price, then I can pick what kind of line item I want to pull from. In my example, I'll select vendor, but take note that you're able to use the custom fields here as well. Then I can select what I want to add or not add to my summary by selecting equal to, not equal to, begins with, or contains, then I will select my vendor. So in my case, I want my summary line to only add up the extended price of the items that are equal to the vendor of TD SYNNEX. Then below it, I'm able to add multiple vendors if I need to. If you need to add something else to the total outside of the extended price or something not based off the vendor, you're able to do so here. At the bottom of the section, you're able to pick what the total is multiplied by. For example, if the customer is set to have recurring payments, you can mark this as 1200% to display the annual commitment to the customer. I'll click OK to save my changes and add this to the quote. Let's now add a summary line based off of the section header. I'll right-click, Add Summary Line, then select Section Header. From here I can mark what section header I want to total on the summary line, then what field it's pulling from. For my example, I'm going to make my line item add up everything under the hardware section and stick with the extended price as my field. Then lastly, just like the totaling option above, I'm able to multiply it by a certain amount for the summary line. I'll make this my recurring payments line and mark this multiplied by 1200%. Moving summary lines on the Quote Workbook will not adjust the subtotal for the line. However, if you make adjustments to the item or section that it's pulling from, then it will automatically update the total. If you need to make adjustments to the setting, it is easy as right-clicking on the summary line, then Edit Summary Line Properties. Now let's take a look at the quote that we just built in QuoteValet to see how it displays to the customer. For my quote, I gave the client the option to select which switches they would like to purchase, then the option to select the accessories they want as well. If you do give the customer the option to make adjustments to the quote, this will update not only the totals at the bottom, but also the section header totals and summary line totals as well. As you can see, section headers, heading lines, and summary lines are powerful tools to help you organize your quotes for your customers. They may all do different things, but they work together to create a cohesive and professional quote. If you have any questions or need assistance, please contact our tech support team at 407-248-1481 or email support@quoteworks.com.